We took a few days off from the videos while the NBA All-Star break was going on, the NBA All-Star weekend, and it is finally all wrapped up. I don't know about y'all, I don't think it was the worst All-Star weekend, but I don't think it was the best. It was just like an All-Star weekend, you know what I'm saying? It was just solid. Basically, to kick off All-Star weekend, we had the celebrity game where Micah Parsons won MVP. As you guys can see, 37 points, 16 boards, 4 steals. He went off. I was kind of interested to see what Kai would do. I think he had 2 points. Like, they didn't really give him the ball. He was wide open on one play. Micah Parsons decided to not pass it to him and shoot an air ball. CJ Stroud hooped, Puka Nacua hooped, but I mean, the actors. I mean, also T-Jazz, he hooped as well, but I don't know. It's not the biggest. It wasn't the biggest of interest for me, but I watched it a little bit. Then we had the event that I probably watched the least. I don't know if I'm like in the wrong for that. Maybe this was the best event of the weekend. I don't know. I didn't watch everything. This was the event that I watched the least. Team Jalen won, Jalen Rose's team won, and Benedict Mathurin was the tournament MVP. I did see, I believe there was a team of like Wemby and like some really good players on a team that went up against like G Leaguers, and I'm pretty sure they lost. So then we of course had the skills competition where the home team has now won 3 years in a row. I believe it was Utah, Cleveland, and now the Indiana Pacers team with Halliburton, I believe Mathurin, and Miles Turner. But we have this clip of Scottie Barnes, who, by the way, in this, he did pretty good. Like in the passing, he did solid. In the shooting, he did solid. But this clip kind of went viral. If you guys didn't see it, you know what I'm saying? They said, why was Scottie in the skills competition if he's doing stuff like this? You know what I'm saying? He comes around and just loses the ball. Like, out of all times to lose control of the ball, you're losing it in the skills competition where there's, you know, I'm not going to say there's money on the line. I don't think there was, but there's pride on the line and all that. But again, the rest of the skills competition, he did pretty good. But this is about, he also had one shot where they were shooting like, I don't know if it was half court shots. It was really deep shots. And he literally turned around and just threw it over his head. Scottie Barnes is like low key turning into like one of the biggest memes in the NBA. We of course had the 3-point contest. And I don't know if it's just me, but this might be my favorite event of the entire weekend. And it usually is. I mean, the dunk contest always gets a lot of hype, but I'm not going to lie. The last few years, it's just not been the same. Like, it hasn't been how it used to be, you know, 10 years ago, 8 years ago. Everyone always talks about the Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine dunk contest, and we'll talk more about this in a second when we actually get to the dunk contest part of the video. But everyone always talks about that one as being like the last good one, and I mean, they're kind of right. But yeah, we had the 3-point contest. Maybe it's my favorite part of the weekend because, you know, when I played basketball, I used to be a shooter. I don't know, that's all I used to do back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Back in the 1940s, when I was in my childhood. As you guys know. But yeah, Lillard went back to back. By the way, I don't know how we haven't mentioned Lillard yet in this video. Damian Lillard had a crazy All-Star weekend because he was also the All-Star Game MVP. We'll talk about that in a second. But he went back to back. He won it last year and he won it again in the first round. The lowest score was Malik Beasley. A lot of people were hyping him up because he has a really good 3-point percentage. But I saw this before it started. Like, if you take a look at the list, and yeah, I mean, sure, everyone has a chance. You never really know. But take a look at the names. Like, you got all these stars, all-star caliber players, and then you just got Malik Beasley. Like, he just kind of seemed out of place. But anyways, we had a tie. 4 players got 26 in the first round. Halliburton got eliminated. I'm not going to lie. He was low-key my pick to win it just because it was in Indy. Also, in the All-Star game, he was kind of my pick to win MVP. I don't know. I just think that the players in the hometown, they get hyped up by the crowd and they just go off. And Halliburton, he's a really good 3-point shooter. So I don't know, I believe, but Lillard went back to back. The finals ended up being Lillard, Trae Young, and Cat, as Halliburton lost in the tiebreaker. Y'all let me know what your favorite event of the All-Star weekend is usually, or what it was this year, because for me, I don't know, it's probably the 3-point contest, just because the dunk contest, first off, you got to have big names in it. If you're bringing in Jacob Toppin and Mac McClung, I mean, Mac McClung's got a little hype. You know what I'm saying? If you're bringing in G Leaguers, like, it just doesn't hit the same. You know what I'm saying? So I like the 3-point contest. The All-Star game, they don't really play defense. We'll talk about that in a second. But for me, my favorite event is the 3-point contest. Not only did we have a back-to-back winner for the 3-point contest, we also had one for the dunk contest as Mac McClung from the G League on the Orlando Magic. I think last year he was like a 76er. I could be wrong, but I don't think he was on the Magic. He went back to back. Toppin and Jaime Hawkins got knocked out in the first round. Jaylen Brown advanced to the finals. And I heard like everyone in the arena could hear it a little bit on TV, but everyone that was at the game was apparently saying that every time Jaylen Brown was going for a dunk or dunked it, they were booing him. And in the final round, I believe it was, he dunked over Kai Cenat, which was sitting in a chair also, by the way, I believe, which is really not that impressive. So it wasn't close. Mac McClung got all 50s on his last dunk and went back to back. But this is a big thing. In the comments, who do y'all want to see in the dunk contest? Because there's a lot of guys that we got to see. I think Ja Morant was talking about he wants to be in it. So that could be dope. Next year, we might see Ja Morant in there. I think Anthony Edwards for sure got to be, like, if we get a Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards, and like Zion Williamson, and then you could throw any fourth in there. I don't know. I guess we're not getting LeBron at this point in his career. Everyone always wanted it, but he never ended up doing it. I think Jason Tatum would be fire. They were saying during the All-Star game they want to see Cat in it, which I personally wouldn't want to see that. He does randomly have these crazy dunks, but I don't know. I don't think he has hops like that. I mean, if he's down, then sure, because the more All-Stars that want to do the dunk contest, the better. We need as many All-Stars in the dunk contest as we can get, because lately, I mean, they've been sending G Leaguers in there. And I also saw some memes of people saying like the NBA treats Mac McClung like a circus animal. Like they be bringing him out for All-Star weekend and then they just like ship him away or whatever. But yeah, shout out to Mac McClung, back-to-back dunk contest champ. I wonder if he returns next year for the three-peat. And I also wonder if Dame returns for the three-peat for the three-point contest. Now, this was possibly my favorite part of the entire NBA All-Star weekend. And yeah, maybe it's because I'm a Warriors fan. Steph Curry is my favorite NBA player, probably my favorite athlete of all time. But we had Steph Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu. Sabrina had the three-point record. You know, I think she made 37 like last year or 2 years ago. So they put her up against Steph Curry and she went off. To start, she made like 7 straight. Like her first rack, she made 5, moved on to the next rack, 2, obviously that's 7, but you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, she started on a roll and she ended up with like 26. So she set the bar high for Steph. And again, in the actual three-point contest, there was a 4-way tie between Trae Young, Damian Lillard, Cat, and Halliburton. They all got 26, same as Sabrina. You know what I'm saying? She set the bar mad high, and she also shot from the NBA three-point line. Originally, it was supposed to be the WNBA one with the WNBA balls, and it was going to be easier for her. Maybe she would have won. She actually did that, but she wanted the challenge. She wanted to go from the actual NBA, you know, three-point line to make it fair. She got 26. If you guys didn't see it, Steph ended up getting 29. It came down to the last rack, and he just went crazy. Huge W for Steph. I mean, it's not a huge W. That's the thing. It wasn't a lose-lose for Steph. It wasn't. But if he did lose, I mean, I feel like the internet was not going to let him hear the end of it. So it's a good thing that he won, because, you know, that would just be honestly bad for his legacy. I know as a Curry fan, as a Warriors fan, people would not let Curry fans and him hear the end of it when people say he's the best shooter of all time. They'd be like, yeah, but he lost to a girl in a three-point, you know what I'm saying? Like, so at least he won. Yeah, as I said earlier, Damian Lillard had a crazy All-Star weekend. In his first time as a starter, which by the way is kind of crazy. I mean, I guess because the West has always been stacked, makes sense. But 39 points, 11 3-pointers. He hit one from like half court. Like it was mad deep, just came down early shot clock. Not surprising because in the All-Star game, they just always shoot shots like that. They don't play a lot of defense. 39 points, 11 threes, made 6 assists, and the East got the W. Which, by the way, I had tweeted out because I was confident. The West roster looked way better. I was confident. I was like, on Twitter, if the East wins, I will follow back everybody that retweets and likes this tweet. And the East ended up winning by like 25. So I don't like the East for that because I had to follow back, you know, like 100 people on Twitter. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's at YT_solo. I'm always tweeting about stuff, you know, around the NBA. But yeah, Dame went off, but he wasn't even the highest scorer for the whole game. Guy that scored the most in the entire game was actually Cat. You guys can see right here, 50 points. At the end of the game, it was almost like he was stat padding, because I swear, I don't know the exact number, but Cat got like 20 plus points, I would say, in the fourth quarter. I swear there was a moment where every time I looked over, Cat was dunking the ball or laying it. Like, bro, he scored like probably like 12 points in a row. At least to me, it seemed like. Of course, the West ended up losing. So if they won, Cat would have been the MVP, I would assume. But for the East, again, Dame with 39, Jaylen Brown had 36. I mean, it doesn't really mean much to me. Maybe to y'all, I don't know, but because it's just a meaningless game, and it's all for fun and entertainment. They're not playing defense. They were trying to make it more competitive. Apparently this year, like before the season started, they said in the in-season tournament, in the All-Star game, and all of that, we want y'all to try harder. I heard that on, I think, someone's podcast or something. I don't know. I heard that somewhere, but I don't know. It didn't do anything because the East scored 211 points and there was pretty much no defense played. You can't blame them. It's a meaningless game. No one wants to get hurt. Sub up if you guys haven't. I'll see y'all tomorrow.